Good evening, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this event thus far. I'm going to start off with a simple question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling right now? 1 meaning you're feeling depressed or hopeless, and 10, you're exuberant, the best you've ever felt. I would say I'm about a 6 right now, give or take a couple of numbers. And I would hope you're all an 8 because you're attending this event. Did anyone question the scale or why I wanted it in numbers instead of words? I know I did every time someone asked me. There are thousands of words in the English language, but when we are asked to describe our happiness, we're limited to 10 numbers. What if I'm feeling on top of the world at an 85? Or like there's no hope left in the world at a negative 20? Why must we limit ourselves when we are describing how we currently feel? Why are many of the ways we value our lives on a number scale? These number scales start at such a young age, and we are taught that is normal, and there's no other way to do it. At the tender age of 12 or 13, our weight and BMI, or the body mass index, become one of the number scales that rule our lives. Picture this. 12-year-old Iliana goes into her yearly physical appointment with her doctor. All the normal tests are completed, and afterwards the physician sits her down and tells her she is obese. When she first heard this, she didn't understand and thought she had to be wrong. She was a 12-year-old girl who was slightly above average height, plays 2 sports at the same time year-round, and danced twice a week. Her mind could not put the word obese together with how she looked. My physician pulled up the BMI index and said, for your height and weight, your BMI is in this range. And all I saw was red. From that point forward, I continued to hear it yearly, and my physician talked about dieting or more exercise. Although I did not let the BMI index tell me how I should change my lifestyle, this is not the case for many people. People go to their doctors and then they hear they are obese or unhealthy, and they automatically begin changing their lives to be in the normal range. The BMI index was created almost 100 years ago by a mathematician who wanted to measure the average man. There is nothing average about any one of us, and we cannot change our lives because we do not fit into a box of height and weight. Eventually, you forget about the BMI index, except for those yearly physicals, because another scale begins to rule your life, your GPA, or your grade point average. Starting in high school, students start to value their high school experience about how high or low their GPA is. Your GPA could make or break the college you attend, the scholarships you need, or the fellowship in your potential career. Students are working towards earning a 4.0 or above a 4.0 because they are taught this means they are the best students. They are brilliant. Students are focusing on taking the honors, AP, and IB courses to earn the highest GPA, and they are missing out on the school events, the extracurricular activities, and their childhood. Letting their GPA rule their lives does not stop once they get into their dream college, because your GPA is just as important in college. If there is one misstep in your college career, your GPA will not be able to recover, and that could be your dream to further your education or get a job after graduation. Your GPA should never tell you how happy or successful you are in high school or college. And now we have come to the last number scale. This scale starts when we become adults at the age of 18, your credit score. Not many students are taught about credit scores in high school, so they don't know how important it is to start your credit history early. But I was. I was taught how important it was to start building my credit, so when I wanted to buy a house or car after graduation, I would be ready. I applied to open up credit cards, and I was denied for one reason. I didn't have a credit history, and they could not trust me to pay back the money I would use each month. This is completely understandable, but I was 18. Did they really expect to see a 5-year credit history? I was taking the initiative to start at a young age. Eventually, I found the only way I would be able to get a credit card was if I opened up a secure credit card. This means I gave the bank my credit limit by giving them a set amount of money. I started off at $500. It was a good limit for an 18-year-old who only used their credit card to pay for her fast food addiction. I paid off my bill every month and was never late. And after a couple of years, my bank returned my original deposit and gave me a higher credit limit. The only thing currently hurting my credit score is that it's only 3 years old. But I can't change that. Your credit score is so important in your adult life because it will either allow you to receive that loan to pay for something you need or leave you stuck saving up the money to pay for it. Credit scores are the adult versions of a GPA. Many people value how successful they are as an adult on how high their credit score is compared to others. And unfortunately, if your credit score drops, it can take many years to return to an acceptable range. All of these number scales have become societal norms we are taught to value our lives on. We are pushing our relationships and experiences to the side because they do not factor into the scales, and that should never happen. I leave you with one last thing. It is okay to know what your numbers are on these scales, but do not let them rule your lives. Teach the future generation to value friendships and tangible things over the number scales they cannot see and that were made decades ago. Thank you for listening to my TEDx talk.